All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Lear 13, and we are about to get underway here for our second of two stints for today's event at Spa for the 4-hour mini enduro hosted by eRacing United, primarily organized by Pindas. Pindas has been a very active member when it comes to organizing insane type stuff in this channel recently. So for those of you who missed Stint 1, our winner in the end was this man here, Dr. Ice. But it was not an easy win, for the Acura started 1-2, but one of them lagged out. One of them had two big crashes and was able to recover the fourth, but it was a very distant fourth at that. So Dr. Ice spent the majority of the time fighting with PTG Neb, and it was only after the last pit stop with about 15 minutes left that the momentum finally swung solidly in Dr. Ice's favor. Neb looked like he was on track for a second place finish, but due to a combination of distance penalties, along with a issue of LMP error miss catching him, and Neb having a gearbox issue where he misshifted and gave himself a box of neutrals, Neb ended up slipping to third in the end. The big wild thing though, TNR Larry B in the KTM Expo ended up pulling off something absolutely incredible, and I'm gonna have to restart because my Forza is giving me an issue here. I can't see anything. All right, I do apologize for that issue, but it should be fixed now. All right, real quick, let's go ahead and look at the drivers who will be running today's event. Isa Bay is going to be taking over that number 126 Acura. This Acura finished 5th overall in the GT3 category. Didn't have a great qualifying, but this entry has been doing good. Space Dog Mike is going to be taking over in one of the KTM GT2 entries. Indiel Dindu is going to be taking over the Noodles entry that had dominated early before disconnecting about a third of the way through the event, so Dindu will look to realize that, hey, win is not in the contention. He just needs to go out here and steal the stint win because overall event win is just not in the cards. Shadows Gamer is going to be another driver who didn't run Stint 1 but is running Stint 2. They're taking over one of the KTM entries. LMP Aramis is going back-to-back. Aramis, as already said, they feel a little bit concerned here for this stint. PTG Neb is going to try and better a third place result. VER Dr. Ice just needs a really good finish up in the top positions in order to walk off with the overall victory here for the VER team. Amish Gaming is going to be going back-to-back in his number 16 Raycon McLaren. TNR Larry B is going to be trying to go back-to-back on stint wins, and it seems very likely he'll do that easily in the GT2 category. NFL Racer is going to come back here in that Barks Root Beer number 53 Dodge. Thomas 086R is going to be in that number 8. Aston Martin again. Thunder 8159 is going back-to-back in his BMW M4. GGA Roadkill is coming back in his Dodge Viper. Pindaz is also going back-to-back in his McLaren. GGA Flackbus had a abnormally strong time in the Porsche last stint, was able to keep instance to a minimum. He'll be looking to go a little bit better now. KSR Elios is going back-to-back in the Lamborghini Huracan. Got second, but it was a very far distant second in Stint 1. He needs something really bad to happen to Larry if he wants any shot of taking home win in the GT2 category. Tony Monkey is going to go back-to-back stints in his number 43 Chevrolet. GGA Design is going back-to-back in his number 44 Mustang. And SDR Dremora is going back-to-back in his outclassed C7 Chevrolet. And OSM Brucey, who lagged out in the prior stint, he's going to be trying to go back. He's going to try and recover and actually have a good run to the end here. And then Roast Race is your pace car for today's event. All right, so all the rules are the same. There will be about 30 seconds of waiting, and then they will do from my understanding at least, they are going to do a full pace lap. This time they will stay single file the entire time though, and then once they cross the start-finish line, that is not the game start-finish line, but will be the start-finish line that's about halfway down the run between the Turn 1 hairpin and Al Rouge. Once they cross that start-finish line, the race will begin here. And it'll be another 2-hour affair here at Spa-Francorchamps. And here we go. We're going to see them start lining up the grid here. So we have lost a few entrants at this stage of the event. We're looking at 17 GT3s and 4 GT2s last time. I think we've lost 2 GT3 entries at the stage of the event. Oh, there is no pace lap this time. Okay. I was wrong. I thought there was a pace lap. There is no pace lap. All right, so if no pace lap, there will just be going a very short distance to the start-finish line, then we'll be underway. We're going to knock out an ad break. We'll be back shortly here at Spa for the start of the event. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spa. We seem to be having some technical difficulties as multiple drivers are now having issues with lagging out and dropping out of the event. We do apologize for that. I think we've lost one of the Acuras here. They've gotten the field properly ordered up, but it does not seem like the Acura. It does seem like we're missing an Acura, and I do not believe Acura is the one that has pulled out. So we may see them back out and try to reorganize the grid again because someone seems to have lagged out while organizing. All right, we might be going underway with just one less driver here. We'll see. Hello, can you hear me? Nope. Hello. All right, can you include your audio in the Xbox party?
There we go.
All right. Yeah, they had a bit of a technical issue because, like, right after you left, someone else lagged out, and they're having to do a full lobby restart again now. So,
Yep.
get ready for that.
Yep.
So, coming to the party right now is Roast Race. Roast Race, not running in today's event, but for Stint 2, but will be nice enough to go ahead and do co-coms here. So, Roast, interesting event thus far. Reliability of the Acuras in particular have been very, very questionable, despite being the best cars on the grid. In your mind, what do you think we need to look for here in Stint 2, though?
Well, I mean, you said it yourself. I mean, the Acuras are not the best currently as compared to reliability. I mean, given what happened to where is he? Our trying to find him. But yeah, given what happened to Bruce, I mean, he did have good pace to get the overall win, but unfortunately, due to his technical difficulties, he was forced to bail out of this in the first stint. So I'd say, out of everyone, I'd say Dryce is one definitely to account for, as well as eRacing, because they are both guys who will not go down without fight.
All right. So now we are down to just, I believe, 3 Acuras at this point. And mind you, 2 of the Acuras disconnected in Stint 1. The other 2 both had accidents. In fact, Acuras provided half of the accidents that we had over the course of Stint 1. So outside of the Acura, Dr. Ice won. Now on track, the gap wasn't massive, but he had a quarter of the distance penalties that second, third, and fourth place had. He has a massive overall distance. For Dr. Ice, though, he's going to be dealing with a lot of faster drivers, such as Indiel Dindu, who is going to be right up his tailpipe from the start. For Dr. Ice, how aggressive do you think he needs to go? Does he have to get elbows out and try to fight for the win? Or do you think he can relax a bit and try to let the overall distance come to him in his favor? What do you think should be his strategy?
I think he's going to have to be very elbows out because, I mean, like you said, NDL Dindu has been, his teammate has actually been very great, actually, on pace. He's in the top 4. So, I mean, right now, I'd say he'd have to put his elbows out because he's going to be under pressure from all sectors.
All right, one more question. This regards TNR Larry B. Larry easily won GT2. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that unless something crazy happens, he's winning the GT2 category overall. But he was 5th overall across both categories at the end of Stint 1. This time, he's not starting a third of a lap behind the rest of the field. Does Larry have a shot to outrun all of the GT3 drivers to win Stint 2?
Potentially. It depends if the lead pack does anything silly. Because as we say in eRacing, you never know what will happen.
All right, we are underway. The entire field immediately goes single file here. We are now down to 16 GT3 entries and 4 GT2 entries. Dr. Ice leads the field down. It'll be Ice, Aramis, Neb, Dindu, and NFL Racer, your top 5 here. As they come across the line, green flag, and we are underway once more at Spa-Francorchamps, and Dr. Ice has a fantastic jump and immediately opens the gap on Aramis and Neb.
Yeah, it was looking like he's got a bad start on it, and he's actually looking to be open up to Neb right now. Side-by-side action right now.
Here comes Dindu. Dindu's going to come up the inside. He's going to go up the middle, make it 3 wide. 3 wide, and Dindu will go from 4th to 2nd down the Camel straightaway. So immediately Dindu is getting elbows out, and now he sets his sights ahead on Dr. Ice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Ramirez had to go a little bit on the grass there to make it 3 wide, compromising his line entirely.
All right, meanwhile in the GT2 category, KSR Elios is being attacked immediately by Shadow Gamers, and here comes Space Dog Mike. 2 KTMs and a Lambo all dive to the end of the Campbell straightaway, and it looks like Shadow Gamer is going to force his way by KSR Elio for what is 2nd in GT2, and now here comes Space Dog Mike. Mike is not able to follow through, though.
Now, I should point out, I believe, Larry might have competition in the form of Shadow Gamer. He does know how to put on a great shoe with that car. So, will Larry be able to run away from the GT2 field in distance? I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see.
One guy who's not running away from the rest of the field in this stint is Indiel Dindu. Dindu saw that Team Noodle Acura was one of the dominant cars early on before having accidents. He wants to retain that dominance. He goes for a big dive on the inside. Dr. Ice was not ready. Ice slides off the circuit, and Dindu goes back to the lead here.
Yep, absolutely. I think Dr. Ice had to have made a little bit of a mistake and understeered off track, having to forcefully get that first position away.
And already, we're only a lap in, and already PTG Nev is adding up the distance penalties. It didn't even take an entire lap. That's been the big Achilles heel for Nev. Sure, he's one of the fastest drivers, but he's constantly getting distance penalties.
Behind, and Thunder and Panda looking to go up the Rouge, and Panda, oh, he's gone off track a little bit there.
And that in the process will let Thomas go ahead and slip by Pindas. Thomas now follows up. He's gonna run on Thunder for ninth. He looks to the inside of that BMW. They make big contact at the end of the braking zone. Thunder has run off circuit there by Thomas. They're still side by side. They make contact again, and finally that asset completes the overtake.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely disastrous. And in fact, that Thunder is going down the field further, and is actually going by as well.
Another Acura in the form of Isa Bay has slipped back to 11th early on. Not great run by Acuras right now. They have 4 entering into the event overall. One of them has dropped out, but of the 3 remaining, one of them is leading, and that is NDL Dindu. But for Dindu, he knows that an overall win can only come if Dr. Ice starts having some problems come his way. And one thing might help, because Dr. Ice has already picked up some distance penalties at this stage of the event.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, people are going to have to keep their noses clean in order to have a very, very good finish. And as of right now, Dr. Ice isn't doing that right now.
Only 2 drivers kept their noses clean with no distance penalties through the entirety of Stint 1. Those were SDR Dromora and KSR Elios. Elios is last right now in his category. Dromora is last in his category. But for now, they are both still clean. Imagine if you could go 4 hours at Spa and never get a single track limit violation. We're going to keep an eye on those 2 to see if either of them can make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, getting no track limit penalties in this game is absolutely going to be a tall order, especially seeing that there's car-to-car action left, right and centre. It's a tall order as we head down to 8th, actually, the battle for the 8th position now, a 3-way battle between the Amish, Thomas, and I believe it is Isa as well, as Thomas goes by.
A lot of drivers really seem to be struggling with the rear of the car sliding out right now, going through Al Rouge and Radion. While it was an issue in Stint 1, I have to wonder if the change in weather conditions and the extra rubber on the track are making the cars handle a lot differently and causing the rears to just kind of drift wide much more often coming out of Al Rouge and through Radion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there might be a little bit of confidence that needs to be built between these drivers. I mean, that building of the rubbering is going to make a big difference on the track, as we see the NFL racer actually going side by side with, I believe, yes, Black Bus.
These 2 were on top of each other for a good chunk of the race in Stint 1, but in the end, NFL went for a different strategy, did a better job maintaining his tires, and put himself in 5th overall, while Flagbus was farther down, just barely held on to a lead lap finish. I have to wonder, are they going to see a replication of their fortunes where their pace is comparable, but one driver's strategy is going to be so much better than the other that they end up being nowhere near each other at the end of this?
I'm going to have to say yes, potentially, because, I mean, the Porsche and Viper are 2 different cars, regards how they drive and as well as how they manage their fuel and tires. So, I'd say, potentially, we might see a piece of what happened in previous days.
Alright, Isa Bay now going around the outside of the NFL racer, and that's the wild card. While the Acuras are not very reliable, they constantly seem to be on edge, at risk of crashing. not to mention the general connectivity issues, Isa Bay, who is the third slowest of the three Acuras, is still able to easily walk by the other cars. The Acuras are incredibly lightweight, which gives them a ridiculous advantage in acceleration out of the corners, and every time they come onto a straightaway, Isa Bay just seems to be able to walk by. They walked by NFL Racer Lake, no problem. They've gone by Flat Bus by no problem, and now it's going to be a bit of a run, but the next driver we'll be looking at will be OSM Brucey. And speaking of OSM Brucey, Brucey is in 5th position right now, runs just a little bit behind LMP Aramis and PTG Nev.
Yeah, I mean, but look at this thing. He is trying to close the gap between himself, but also with essentially the last step of podium, PTG Nev. So he might be going to have the top turn at the ready. Meanwhile, further back in the field, there is a battle between the GGA board. It's GGA.
I see that, but Bruce has just bullied his way by Aramis. Aramis got a little bit wide there at the bottom of the hill, and Bruce just saw the inside line, went by. They made a little bit of door-to-door contact, but there's just nothing that Aramis could do to fight back. And not just that, look at this. Aramis is already over a 1/10 of a mile in distance penalties. We're not even 10 full minutes in. PTG Nev is already over an 1/8 of a mile of full distance penalty, 1/8 of a mile of distance penalties already.
Yes, indeed. So I'd say things are not over just yet. But remember, these penalties are just a little bit of a reminder saying do not be that bad on the racing. Because if you're going to be seriously bad, you are going to be penalized severely.
So wait, are you telling me that the overall penalties do not actually factor to overall total distance?
There was a little bit of a discussion earlier where if because the track limits are going to be a little bit iffy around here, as we both know. However, if and only if there is very obvious and blatant corner cutting, then that will become more serious, and that will be then turned into potentially post-race penalty.
Well, in that case, then that changes the entire dynamic of the event, and that means that Dindu is in a position to potentially walk off with the overall win over Dr. Ice, because Dindu's teammate who ran in Stint 1 did finish 4th. They weren't super close to Dr. Ice, but they were close enough that with the way that the gap is building between Dindu and Dr. Ice right now, Dindu might just go out there and outrun Dr. Ice.
Yeah.
Partially because the Acura is just so much faster than everything else.
There was a change for the third step of the podium as Bruce bullied his way into 3rd place, forcing himself on the inside and making them having to go in. And I saw Brucey actually catching a little bit of dirt on the way in. So that might be a contestable overtaking right there.
Well, with the way that Neb and Dindu, not Neb and Dindu, Neb and Ice have been fighting, if that's a contestable overtake, then basically 2/3 of Stint 1 is a contestable overtake, considering how aggressively the two were on top of each other all Stint long in Stint 1.
Yeah, so, I mean, there are going to be some SIs going into post-race, as I can tell. I mean, I heard over race comms that there was a little bit of an iffy braking situation between DR Ice and the fire lead of the first stint, as I heard, but I couldn't tell what happened.
All right. Well, Aramis has dropped off and has already accrued a significant amount of distance penalties. So too has PTG Neb. So with this in mind, factoring in that Dindu and Dr. Ice continue to lead, it looks like this fight's just going to come down to Dindu versus Dr. Ice. We know that the Acura is the better car. It has been the most overpowered car this entire day, but it has been unstable. It has been involved in more accidents than all the other entries combined. The question is just going to be, can NDL Dindu keep it on the racetrack for the remaining hour and 37 minutes of racing?
Indeed. Now, going down to GT2 category for second place, and Space Dog Mike and Shadow Gamer are both waddling for second place of the GT2 category.
With the 1HOR Acura entry dropping out, now Space Dog Mike's 1HOR GT2 entry is really that team's only entrance and only representation in today's event. And KSR Helios has dropped out! And the Lamborghini has dropped out all of a sudden. We're not even 15 minutes in and we have lost the Lamborghini.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that car, I saw he was very much at the back of the pack anyway. So, honestly, I don't think that was going to make much of a difference anyway. So, I don't think he was very comfortable in that Lamborghini to go out. So, I think that him bowing out might have been a strategic decision. He might have just quit himself.
Yeah, frustrating because now the GT2 category is all KTM all the way through, and I will admit my bias. I will always pull for somebody running a car that is not what everyone else in the category is doing, but it looks like that has come to an end.
Yeah, but I mean, you and I will both admit that KTM's in GT2s and even GT4s are very good in regards to their fuel and tire, and that's why they are preferred.
All right, so we're about 15 minutes into the event. We're going to go ahead and knock out an ad break. We'll be back shortly here at Spa-Francorchamps as we watch OSM Brucey 33 slowly close the gap down between themselves and Dr. Ice. That's gonna be it.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. Your eyes do not deceive you. The overtake has already happened. We are back to an Acura 1-2. Basically, our top five are in the same order they all qualified for the start of the event in. The big thing, though, is that NDL Dindu has opened up a gigantic gap on the rest of the field as walking off with this. The only question is, can Dindu keep the car under him? I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm normally used to seeing NDL Dindu run in Ferraris, and the Ferrari GT3 cars are known for being infamously twitchy and ill handling. And not only have I seen Dindu go to the end of races staying on track with him, I've seen him win races and stints in endurance races in that Ferrari. And if the Acura has even 90% of the instability issues that the Ferrari has, I think Dindu is going to keep this car under him. As long as no one else crashes into him, I think this stint is in the bag for him. The question is just going to come down to, will Dr. Ice be able to stay close enough to Dindu to get the overall stint, the overall event win back? Because Dindu's car finished a relatively distant 4th place back in stint number 1. How quickly this gap is opening up, I'm gonna be honest, I think there's a high likelihood we see Dindu walk off with this and put everyone up to maybe 6th position, a lap down by the end of this stint. There is nobody on Dindu's level in this field right now.
Yeah, indeed. But looking down the field, and there seems to be more action further down, particularly for position 7. So it looks like
Thomas, Flackbus, and NFL Racer all pretty close to each other.
Yeah, and it looks like NFL Racer is just looking at Thomas and Flatbus, getting their popcorn ready, because if either of them crash into each other, NFL Racer is just going to say, "Oh, thank you very much, I'll take both of your positions."
Remember, these 3 got into each other, and that was the only instant that Flackbus had in the first stint. The 3 of them got into each other, and Flackbus spun, going through that big, high-speed left-hander in Sector 3. Flackbus only has spun, lost about 10 seconds, and gradually recovered most of it back. But these 3 have had a history with each other. Obviously, they will be looking to not repeat the overall outcome of that scenario.
Ooh, Flatbus going a little bit wide on that one, so that might... No, so actions like that, blatant going wide on the track, exceeding track limit, that is going to count towards penalty, just as an FYI.
Even if you went wide and you let off and you lost time instead of gained time?
Well, if you lose time, that's going to be discounted. But if one argues it is gaining time, then that will be considered as a penalty. But, I mean, look...
NFL Racer has gotten by Thomas after Flackbus ran Thomas off in the braking zone at the end of the Camel Straight, and now NFL Racer tucked up behind the Porsche of GGA Flackbus.
Meanwhile, looking down the field, look at where Larry is right now. He's right behind Thunder, looking to potentially overtake that BMW.
Yeah, Larry leading in the GT2 category, brought that thing home, top 5 overall in the first stint. I don't think that's going to happen this time, though. Not unless we start seeing some more problems out of the other Acura entries, because right now Acura holds 3 of the top 6 results right now. Nothing is on pace with the Acuras in today's event. I don't think there's any chance that Larry gets a top 5 result here again. Overall, NFL Racer under braking, makes contact with Flackbus, loses the position, and now lets Thomas get back by as they come onto the start-finish line straight, or the pit lane straight.
Yeah, no, that's going to be potentially racing incident. I mean, if it's if one guy break their braking points, then I'm sorry to say that's going to be marked down as potentially a racing incident.
Well, everyone at the front has completely spread out. The entirety of the top 6 are all well apart from each other. Really, the first big fight going on track is Flackbus, Thomas, and NFL for 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then there is a slightly less important fight, but still something to keep note of, and that is between Tony Monkey and Shadow Gamer for 16th and 17th. But other than that, it seems like in this event, everyone's spread out very early on, have kind of just fallen into their rhythm. They're just going to try and nurse their fuel and tires forward. Okay, something else to consider. In Stint 1, you had that entire first lap. That's like 4 minutes, basically, of time wasted where you're not racing, you're not going hard or anything like that. Because of that, everyone was able to be a little bit more cautious on their fuel and tire wear. This time, they basically went racing within a minute. Your fuel and tires are going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball. For the drivers that did a 2-stop in Stint 1, do you think a 2-stop is still possible here in Stint 2?
Honestly, I'd say potentially no, because I mean, look how far the gaps are. They're not that far off. So I'd say not really, because I mean, look how close they are currently. Look how close between 7, 8, and 9 are. They're very close. So I'd say no to a 2-stop, but potential change in regards to strategies, absolutely. Someone could say, I want to go a soft instead of a medium. So the possibilities are endless here.
All right, real quickly, I'm looking at the back of the GT3 field. Shadow Gamer, who is second in GT2, has caught the back of the GT field. But right now, Tony Monkey runs behind GGA Design, so a classic American Chevrolet versus Ford battle here for what would be 14th in category, 15th overall.
Now, remember, the GT2 categories do not have any blue flags at all. So if they want to overtake, they're going to have to do it legitimately. And that's exactly what Shadow Gamer is doing right now.
Yeah, it looked like Tony Monkey had a really bad time coming out of the chicane and just compromised his straight line speed so badly that Shadow just went right by. So that will give Shadow Gamer a chance to open up the gap between themselves and Space Dog Mike, and should wrap up potentially wrap up second place for his entry in that GT2 category.
Meanwhile, I'd say the GGA team battle is heating up as design goes by Roadkill. Oh no, wait, hang on. Design going a little bit wide there, and Shadow is like, nope, I'll take that position, thank you very much. Oh, Design, I might take yours as well.
Another thing has just developed for 5th position. The Acuras just seem to be ridiculously overpowered. We are now seeing Isa Bay, who that entry was nowhere near competitive to the front in Stint 1, but Isa Bay has just about caught LMP Aramis. I checked, Aramis doesn't have any damage or engine problems or anything. Isa Bay has just ran Aramis down and is about to start putting pressure there. Also, I think we're only a few minutes away from our first round of pit stops for drivers who are making this a 3-stop. So we're going to knock out an ad break, try to get ahead of the ads a little bit so we can catch the entirety of the pit sequence we believe will be starting very shortly. Don't go away. We'll be back very shortly here at the Spa-Francorchamps.
And there he goes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. And just as you came back, you saw Isa Bay just blew by LMP Aramis. So yeah, the reliability issues that the Acura's had in Stint 1 seem to be gone now. And PTG Neb is paying out 4th place.
Yep, he's going to be the first man to bail and head into the pit.
So remember, this is not an exact 2-hour event, unlike the P1R Enduros that we sometimes cover. This is a 1 hour and 50-minute event, so 110 minutes. If you want to make this on 3 stops, well, what's 110 divided by 4? You put 4 into 11, you get the number 2. Then you drop the 3, you take 4 into 30, you get 7. You drop the 2, you get 5. So you would be looking at pitting once every 27.5 minutes. If that is the strategy, then PTG Neb is pretty darn close to paying once every 27.5 minutes right now. He is setting himself up for not really an overcut or undercut, but a nice even round. Everyone else who is staying out right now, though, is going for a overcut there, hoping that staying out and turning laps on lower fuel loads is going to give them enough extra speed to let them open up the gap and get away from the people they are fighting or really extend their overall distances. Also, something else of note, last stint, everybody got distance penalties except for 2 drivers, but it took about half the race to get to that point. Now, not even a quarter of the way through this stint, everyone except SCR Dremora has earned distance penalties already. So a lot of drivers being a lot more free playing with track limits here in Stint 2 at Spa.
Yeah, the one thing I will mention is before Neb went on to his tires, I think he might be doing an undercut strategy because I saw his tire wear being at 47%. So he might be attempting to do an undercut strategy on the front of the field as Zinju comes in.
So Dindu will be the first of the leaders to come in, but of OS and Brucey is actually going to stay out, so Brucey will re-inherit the lead, the position he was in before lagging out back in the first stint here. What of Dr. Ice or Isa Bay or LMP Aramis? Well, Isa Bay is going to go ahead and pit this lap as well. So does LMP Aramis. Yeah, but Dr. Ice wants to stay out a little bit longer, which is interesting because historically, based off of how Stint 1 went, Dr. Ice, he typically has lost time very badly as he's dealing with some of the most extreme tire wear of all of our front runners. But him staying out longer now means that, yes, he'll lose more time now, but that is less time he will lose potentially later in the event. He can make his later stints maybe a lap shorter if he so chooses.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I know that the AMG is known to go longer with regards to their tire wear. So I'm a bit puzzled with regards to what LMP Emirates is doing. I mean, if I were him, I would have gone for longer before I dove into the pit. But that would be me. As we go further down the field, Shadow is actually the first out of the Shadow and Space Dogmite are the first of the GT4 of the GT2 category who are actually diving into the pits.
TNR Larry B has already driven his way up into what is 10th overall in the event. So Larry, by starting just a little bit closer to the GT category, is making his way through the GT field much, much faster. But he's going to have to deal with a chunk of cars ahead because Didn't Do maintains most of his advantage. But Neb is right there ahead of Isa Bay and LMP Aramis. And then behind them is still this group of 3, Thomas, Flackbus, and NFL Racer. So while Larry is running in clean air right now, this is going to change. He is eventually going to start catching traffic sooner rather than later here.
So, yeah, I mean, we need to give Larry all due credit because he is very much the only man out of all GT2 drivers who could actually potentially finish within the top 10, potentially top 5, but I don't see top 5 happening. So maybe
I think top 5 I think top 5 in overall distance could happen, combining the two stints together. But I think we're going to be looking at probably 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I'm with you on
Dr.
that
Ice has
one.
gone ahead and pitted out second position now.
So Neb actually works with his undercut and actually goes ahead of Dr. Ice.
He's not ahead of him yet, though. No, I don't think he's going to. It looks like Dr. Ice is still going to be ahead. Yes, indeed, it did not work out. Neb is still behind Dr. Ice by the looks of it. And that, if anything, the gap's opened up.
Yep. Now, Thomas is the next one to bail into pit. I'm curious though, what is Larry's tires like? Nearly 60%.
Larry might be going on a 2-stop strategy here. Cut out a pit stop to try and spend as much time out on circuit as possible. GGA Roadkill and GGA Design both have elected to pit this time by now.
Panda too. But turning back to Larry, I think, given his pace, I'd say he has the potential to do a 2-stop strategy. He has the overall pace over the GT2 field to actually afford to do 2 stops, if not 3. Meanwhile,
we're still waiting to see when our current leading Acura, Brucey, elects to pit. He stays out for another lap. He has not yet hit the 60% mark. I think Brucey is setting himself up for a 2-stop strategy as well right now. You look at what he's doing. If he stays out for about if he stays out for the rest of this lap and then a second lap after that, Brucey could make this a 2-stop strategy. He's already faster than most of the other drivers, but he would be on a different strategy than what NDL Dindu is on. So Dindu would be faster, but would be stopping more. Brucey would be slower, but stopping less. So we could see a fight for overall stint win between Brucey and Dindu right now on 2 alternative strategies. Now, that's not guaranteed. We could be reading the room wrong. But right now, that's what it looks like Brucey is going for. Maybe a 2-stop strategy.
yeah, potentially. And out of everyone here, he's actually getting the most positions out of everyone. But I mean, if he wants to win this entire thing, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen because, as you and I both know, he had a disconnect during the race, during the first stint, meaning his chances of winning are pretty much done.
Yeah, but there's still pride on the line and still some joy to be had if you can take home a stint victory. And that's why I have to wonder if it's just like, okay, well, the win's not in my category. I might as well just ruin everyone else's race and steal the stint win.
Yeah, that might be an interesting play on this.
Meanwhile, for 4th place, I am watching as Isa Bay runs down on PTG Neb. As this event goes on, now that the Acuras have resolved their reliability issues, and they now seem to have drivers that have a better job keeping the cars on track, I think we could be looking very easily at this stint finishing 1, 2, 3 for the Acuras. There just seems to be nothing that can slow those Acuras down right now. Brucey finally pits. So Brucey's came a little early, so maybe Brucey is not going for a 2-stop strategy. He's pitted about a lap too early for it to be a 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to say he might be trying to play the mind games game here, but you never know, as we see Angel Dingu flying by. So I'd say, I mean, we are looking at potentially the overall victor, Dindu, sadly. I don't think there's going to be any contest.
Yeah, Dr. Ice has already lost so much time to Indiel Dindu, and Dindu is notorious for being able to make cars that are ill handling work, and not just work but win. And that car finished a distant fourth, but right now the distance between Dr. Ice and Dindu is comparable to the distance that Dr. Ice had over that same car at the end of Stint 1. If it took 40 minutes basically to match that distance, and he's only going to keep going faster, I'm sorry, but that Team Noodle's entry is going to win by default, because now that the Acros have resolved their reliability issues, it is very obvious, as I watch this fight between Neb and Isa Bay, it is very obvious that the Acros are ridiculously overpowered today, and there is nothing that you can really do to keep an Acura behind you if they want to start fighting for position.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'd say this could potentially have a BOP change, because look how far Zindu and Brucey is compared to the rest of the field. They're so far, I'd say a BOP change might be in effect soon.
Isa Bay seems to finally stop their forward progress just a bit. They have run down PTG Neb, but they seem to have stalled out a bit behind that Aston Martin just for the moment. But still, I imagine this is the most interesting fight you're going to want to watch going forward here.
Now, I am looking downfield. Where have we got battles? The only battle that's really close is between Black Bus and NFL Racer.
Yeah, Porsche versus Dodge. Not exactly a duo that you think of as being hard rivals, but these two spent a lot of time on top of each other last stint, and now they're doing the same thing in this stint. But NFL had a better strategy that got him a top 5 overall in Stint 1. Well, it's top 5 within his category in Stint 1. Flackbus was just barely on the lead lap at the end of Stint 1 in comparison. But NFL wants to continue his good run. Flackbus wants to revert it, but really they've just kind of mad out. You know, they're both running better than where Flackbus was last stint, but worse than where NFL finished last stint. So, not really great or terrible for either of them.
Yeah, not great or terrible for either. And by the looks of things, they're going to try and keep the pressure on the two of them. I mean, look how they are trying to get the best of the other. But having said that, Larry is actually slowly starting to close up on the two of them. So that two-way battle might change into a three-way battle.
But the way that Larry has been picking up and laying cars down the entire time, I have to think that if Larry catches them, it's not going to be much of a fight. He'll probably buy them both within a lap easily. I turn my focus once more to the battle between PTG Neb and Isa Bay. For the moment, Neb has it, but Bay continues to put the pressure on as we continue to run here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a potential battle for the position just outside of the podium. But I'm going to say that Isa might just go by sooner rather than later.
Yeah, with the way this race is looking, it looks like we're going to be seeing the end of this race, the end of the race overall, not the stint, but the entire event. Indiel Dindu's entry is almost guaranteed to win unless he has an accident. Dr. I should almost guaranteed come home second. It's going to get really close, though, between Neb, Isa Bay, and Aramis. A lot of that may just come down to what post-event penalties are going to be awarded, but it does look like the Team Noodle entry that the NDL team has entered, they're going to walk off with this win despite two big accidents in Stint 1, and it looks like Dr. Ice is going to walk off with second place overall on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, the one person, if I were to give a Driver of the Day award, I'd have to give it to Larry. I mean, he is one person who should not be this high in the field. Yes, here he is.
Yeah, when you're in the GT2 category, you start way behind the GT3s, and yet that has not slowed him down one bit. Also, Bay has completed their overtake on PTG Nev, so the 3 remaining Acuras in the event now have 3 of the top 4 spots on track, just a little bit past a third of the way through the final stint, so about 2/3 of the way through the Spa 4 hour as a whole. We're going to go ahead and take a bit of a break. We'll be back shortly here at Spa-Francorchamps, as every single driver has finally gone ahead and made their first stops of the race. Your leader is NDL Didn't Do in that number 20 Acura. We'll be back shortly here. Didn't Do's about to start putting the back of the GT3 field a lap down. He's just about caught Amish and GGA design there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I think this is going to prompt a BOP look redo, because I mean, look how far he is between himself and, well, actually, look how far both first and second is compared to third.
I mean, Bay, that car had no pace. That car in general had no pace. It did not qualify well, do anything in qualifying, but like in both Stint 1 and Stint 2, they've just kind of been cutting through the field with no issues whatsoever.
Absolutely. But like I say, I think there might be a...
Well, the big issue with the BOP adjustment, though, is that this is a one-off. This isn't part of a bigger championship. So it's like, cool, you adjust the BOP. You know, it's going to be weeks, if not months, before another event is done like this.
Yeah, I mean, I have to wait and see. But like I said, I mean, Larry does lots of pressure.
The only person on the same level as the Acura is Larry, and Larry's in a completely different category of car that's not really fair to compare him.
I hate to say this, but do you think he self-nerfed?
You think he what?
He self-nerfed. He nerfed himself.
I think Larry saw the level of competition was going to be uneven in GT3. He saw that the cars were unbalanced, so he's like, screw this, I'd rather have an actual fight and balanced cars. So he ran in GT2, and then ended up being that there were no other competitive GT2 entries. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. We are about an hour and 5 minutes away from the end of Stint 2 here. NDL Didn't Do continues to open his gap on Dr. Ice. He has got almost a third of a lap on Dr. Ice at this stage of the event. We are looking at a race where we could see everyone except the top 6 drivers going a lap down. And honestly, if everything works out well, Didn't Do could make it a scenario where everyone except the top 4 drivers go a lap down by the end of this. Everybody has ended up with distance penalties at this stage of the race, except for SDR Dramora. But with that said, Dramora has already gone a lap down, as on track to finish the stint 3 laps down, so it's kind of irrelevant. In the GT2 category, TNR Larry B has been kind of out on his own, although Shadow Gamers and Space Dog Mike have been a little bit closer to Larry this stint than where GT2 was last stint. The gap is still overwhelmingly in Larry's favor. There has also been a fight that's been going on for a while between GGA Flakbus and NFL Racer. They have been going back and forth, Dodge versus Porsche, for a good chunk of the event thus far. It does seem like the Porsche has a significant straight line speed advantage, but the Dodge has a gigantic handling advantage. I think the question between those two is just going to be who has the better strategy to the end of the race here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say actually it'll be Larry, because I mean, if you look at the distance between him and the two of them, it's going very, very, very short down. I mean, they're now on the same straightaway. actually same corner.
NFL missed the braking zone going into the chicane and went right into Flagbus's left rear quarter panel. Somehow, Flagbus kept that Porsche under him.
Yeah, but now that's going to invite Larry in even more. I mean, look, he has now got them in his sight.
Oh, Flagbus very nearly spun himself out there through Al Rouge and Radion. He is way slow. Here comes Larry, and that will be an easy straight line overtake by NFL. NFL blitzes by Flagbus as if that Porsche wasn't even there. So NFL goes back up into the 8th position now.
Indeed, indeed. I'd say right now, these two are still going to be battling out. I mean, look at everywhere else. There's barely any action for position. But these two, there is absolutely lots of action for their position. I mean, well, I lie actually. There's a battle for 15, and then there's the battle for I believe, yeah, just for 15th actually, as the Roadkill, Amish, and GJ Design are all battling it out. And then, yeah.
Something else to take note of, Isa Bay is now running down VER's Dr. Ice. So, yeah, we are looking at a scenario where in about 15 minutes we could see the entire podium being locked out by Acuras here. Dr. Ice has already fallen almost a third of a lap off of NDL Dindu right now, and even more insulting to Dr. Ice, not directly like he is a problem, but like it's gonna feel insulting after he won Stint 1. It looks like all of the Acuras have really got their stuff together, and he is likely gonna be caught by Isa Bay and overtaken in the next 2 to 3 laps here.
Yeah, I mean, unless something outside of his control happens, which I doubt will happen, I'd say Dindu has the win secured.
NDL Dindu has now set Pindaz down the lap. Somehow, all of the GT2 drivers, all the GT2 cars still have not gone a lap down to your GT3 leader. Shadow Gamer and Space Dog Mike have both done a tremendous job staying ahead of the leaders. Now, their time is coming, and it is inevitable that the GT3 leaders will catch them and pass them. But it has taken the leader much longer to catch them. So the GT2 field has absolutely picked up in quality going from Stint 1 to Stint 2. In Stint 2, the GT2 drivers were completely irrelevant. It was Larry B out fighting for a top 5 overall, and everyone else was nowhere near really the top 10. Here, they're all relatively close to each other on track, and they are doing a good job cutting their way through the back of the GT3 field. So GT2 drivers overall have absolutely improved their pace going from Stint 1 to Stint 2 here.
Yeah, I will admit something though. I was going to be in the GT2 field, but on Thursday, Friday actually, I told Brandon saying, look, I've had a personal injury, I'm going to have to be forced to pull out.
Yeah, injury delay is going to be one of the more frustrating ones you're ever going to have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, nope, I'm not risking my personal health over this race. As much as I want to race today, this injury is going to make things painful. So hence why I was like, nope, I'm not even bothering.
Do you mind if I ask what the injury was?
Burn injury.
Oh,
Yeah, so I ended up with blisters on my well, on the thumb and the webbing between the thumb and the index finger. So yeah, this I was forced to do it, but in the long scheme of things, probably the best of ideas.
all right, we're continuing to watch right now. Isa Bay close down the gap between themselves and Dr. Ice. There's just nothing that Dr. Ice is able to do to keep this gap big. The other thing is that these drivers will likely be pitting in the next 3 to 4 laps. Already 38% tire wear for Dr. Ice, for Isa Bay just behind. They are currently at 41% tire wear. So even with more worn tires, Isa Bay is just destroying Dr. Ice. They've basically caught Dr. Ice now. The question is going to be, where will the overtake happen on the circuit?
Yeah, indeed. I'm going to say.
Oh, well, here it is. It's already happened.
Well, there it is. There it is. I mean,
Ice is trying to keep even on the outside, but being in a
Small
lighter car,
contact,
Isa
small
Bay and the
contact.
Acura should be able... No! Dr. Ice goes deep and gets back in front of Isa Bay. It's not over yet.
Yeah, there was a little bit of contact between the two of them, but nothing major. But he's going to want to try that again. Hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake twice.
Oh, Isa Bay runs wide. Boy, do they run wide. Loses a big chunk of time in the process.
Meanwhile, if you look further behind, PTG Nev is just at the popcorn at the ready, because if both of them take each other out, it's going to be 2-3 positions.
The big thing for Neb, though, is that with how fast the Acuras have been, even if Isa Bay has an accident, there is a possibility that Isa Bay could just get on track and then run PTG Neb back down on pace alone. Accidents do not seem to be able to really derail the Acuras thus far, not unless there's multiple accidents.
And accidents are very rare in this league, it must be pointed out. I say that, I hope that I have not jinxed myself. Meanwhile, as we look further down, DNR Larry is now in the mix and is now looking to get by Thomas.
Yeah, has already gotten by Flak Bus. Also, NFL Racer has also gotten by Flak Bus, so it does seem like NFL is trying to repeat his fortunes from the prior stint right now.
Yeah, but I mean,
We still continue to focus on the fight between Isa Bay and Dr. Ice, though.
Am I looking this up right? So I am seeing that the battle for third is approaching the battle for 16th.
No, you are seeing this correctly there. They have just about caught the battle for 16th.
So this is going. So the battle for 16th is going to be forced to be put on hold, as blue flags will be put out for them, forcing them to essentially let the GT3 drivers, well, the lead pack by.
Dr. Ice holds the line, but Isa Bay sees him run to the inside, will not take it. Ice is going to hold station behind Dr. Ice for the moment as they come up on the back of GT3 traffic.
Now, blue flag will be waved around about now, because the top three is now look trying to go by the 17 and 16. 17 does not want to be part of their battle and is actually forcibly going wide.
Oh, Isa. It looked like they were going to go for a deep last moment lunge, and Isa's going to pit. Isa Bay is going to pit. So Isa Bay pits and PT Neb pits. So we are now under our green flag pit stops round 2. We're going to go ahead, knock out an ad break, and when we come back, we'll catch the rest of our leaders making their second pit stops of the stint.
So maybe I should introduce myself fully.
Go on.
So I am actually Sarka.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm with GGA, as I said. People actually misconcept me from actually being from the UK, which tends to happen with this accent, which I don't blame them. So, I've been with GGA for a little bit now. So I was in the academy, and now I am part of them, and I've actually started with my commentary career in 1HOR. So yeah, I do know how to do some commentary, but obviously I'm not that good because I do have dyspraxia.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. Your eyes do not deceive you. Your leader is now OSM Brucey 33 as NDL Dindu has ducked into the pits to make their second stop of the day. Brucey went long on stint 1. We imagine they're going to go long here on their second fuel and tire stint as well. Dr. Ice, though, in third, has stayed out a little bit longer, but they are not even close enough to get ahead of Dindu after Dindu has made an extra stop. So if that doesn't tell you how incredibly OP the Acuras have turned out to be today, then I don't think anything will.
No, absolutely. As Emiris is also coming in as well. He was on minor wear, 56%. So yeah, let's have a look. What is Brucey on? What is Brucey on? He is at 41% on the rears. So I'd say if he plays his cards right, he should go in about 2 or 3 laps time. If I was him.
Yeah.
But I mean, we never know. I mean, if I were him, I know in Dindu's pace, I would try to play the strategy. Yeah, I try to outdo him on strategy rather than pace alone, because I would know full well that Dindu is a very, very quick driver.
Okay, Larry B has already gotten by Flackbus Thomas and NFL, so he is now 7th overall. And I still think that Larry might be setting himself up for a 2-stop run here. And if 2-stop strategy is what Larry is committing himself to, he might be right in the midst of the fray with the likes of Aramis. I don't think he'll have enough time to catch Neb, but he might be able to put himself ahead of LMP Aramis by the time this is over.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, look at the gap between himself and Larry. It's nearly in different sectors. So
for now.
Yeah, for now. So I'd say yes, he could catch on to Emiris, but I'd say at the end of the race. That's where
Yeah,
I
it would
think.
be really close. They'd basically be tucked right on top of each other at the very end.
So, I mean, if Larry is going to want to try and do that, he's got a hell of a lot of work to do. And as we saw a moment or so ago, both Space Dog Mike and Shadow Gamer actually picked it. So, and are now a lap down.
Yeah, they're a lap down to the GT3 leader of OSM Brucey. Brucey, who still has yet to make his second stop. He went really long on the first stint. Is he trying to go really long? We don't know yet if Brucey is committing to a two-stop strategy and he's just going to put a lot of extra wear on his tires at the very end, or if Brucey is on a three-stop but he wants to make his third stop really late and make it a really short in-and-out splash and go. Dindu, we know very confidently, is on a three-stop strategy. He is pitting almost once every 30 minutes. Brucey is pitting closer to about once every 42 minutes, and that math doesn't quite work out in either way. So Brucey's kind of the wild card on strategy at the moment.
Yeah. What? Where does he go with regards to all this? Or I should say, where he will appear in all this? I don't know. But what I do know is he's not pitting this lap.
Yeah, Brucey continues to really extend his fuel and tire life.
So he does
right
have
now, Dindu is on fresher tires, though, and is running Brucey down, but that gap is really big, and if Brucey can maintain this and pull out a two-stop strategy, he might steal the stint win from NDL Dindu. It would be a heck of a redemption after Brucey got disconnected about 40 minutes in to the first stint.
Yeah,
and VER Dr. Ice is finally jumping into the pits.
But, I mean, I'm looking at the tires for Brucey right now, and right now, his rears are showing at 48%.
Okay, fight for third, back underway. Dr. Ice in the pit lane right now. Isa Bay trying to navigate traffic. Can Isa get back ahead of Dr. Ice? That is the question.
Yes. Yes, absolutely, because he's just pulled into his pit stall. And...
Yep,
yeah.
Isa's already through. Dr. Ice just came out of the pits, just behind Isa. If anything, that gap has massively opened up in Isa Bay's favor. Here comes PTG Neb. This fight's about to come back on. PTG Neb has nice warm tires. He sees Dr. Ice ahead, so it might be Ice versus Neb all over again here.
Yeah, now, but still, they have a blue-black car ahead. Tony's right in front of them, so Tony's going to have to give way and let their battle continue.
Monkey tried to give them both plenty of room, but the thing is that Monkey does have to stay on the track.
Yeah,
and he stayed on track basically in one of the corners. He couldn't really confidently go side by side, and that really held Neb up for a bit. But Neb is not really concerned. Neb is immediately caught right back up to Dr. Ice. So the fight for fourth is on. As the stint has gone on, Ice's performance has gradually continued to drop off. Also, at this stage of the event, Acura runs 1, 2, 3 right now.
Yeah, and it looks like PTG Neb is actually looking to want to get by.
Yeah, this was the fight that these two had basically the entirety of stint 1 until about the last 15 minutes when Neb had some...
He's so down on pace, it looks like Neb was actually pushing him through that corner. So it looks like Neb is going to have no problem trying to go by.
Side by side through the chicane, and now it's a drag race down the pit straightaway.
And
Now they're side by side on the run downhill. One of these two are going to have to back out in the Al Rouge and Radion corners. Who's it going to be? And it's Neb who backs out.
Well, I mean, you could do it too wide, but it's going to require a lot of bravery.
I feel more confident in squeezing the camel through the eye of a needle than going side by side through Al Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, well, I mean, I honestly, in one HRR, I have done it before. So it can be done, but you have to be extremely confident in your car.
Confident, but not stupid confident.
Exactly. As PTG Nev goes by.
Brucey, currently your leader, has yet to make his second stop. We are still not sure if they are coming to a two-stop. Oh, and SCR Dramora has dropped out, and there's contact, and Nev is sideways.
Right. Let's break that down. That's not going to go down well, I believe. And yeah, SDR.
Oh, and Neb's deep into the dirt. Deep into the dirt. He still maintains position over ice for now, but both these drivers are making a series of mistakes, and all the while they fight, this is basically going to kill any chance that Dr. Ice had of winning the event overall. So I think with this, we can crown the NDL Noodle team as the default winners of the event. Even if they have an accident, I feel that that team is so fast, it just does not matter. They can outdrive an accident at this point even.
Yeah, but I think... Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Coming in at party right now is SCR Dramora. Dramora, go ahead, include your audio. What took you out there?
I don't know. Surprised this thing would last that long, but it's happened again. I mean, with Spa always tends to be.
Well, I got some good news for you, Dramora. You are the only driver in the entire field to go through both stints with no distance penalties whatsoever.
Yep. It's always because I'm always a clean driver, so.
I do want to ask, since you were in one of the legacy GT3 cars, one of the GT3 cars that were not designed to be perfectly balanced with everything else, what was it like driving the older Chevy compared to one of the newer, properly balanced GT3 cars out there?
I think for me it was mostly came down to soft spot for it, because I do always like the C7. You know, I have nothing against the C8, but I think I ended up choosing it for more of like a personal preference and stuff like that. I also want to say thank you to Maybe for allowing me to have the number 3 for this, because you know it was something I always wanted to do in this. So I wanted to say thank you to Maybe for allowing me to have the 3.
All right, thanks for that. One more question before we let you go. What else do we think we could see you racing in over the next few weeks?
I don't know. I think the next... It's going to be a while before I do another race. Probably not until, like, early September. For, I think, Frosty's regular season opening race there, his Daytona 500. And then I think after that would be Tour of Spa. So those are about it for me.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping in and talking with us, Dramora. It's been a long, tough, thankless fight, but it seems like your fight has finally come to an early end. Go and catch some rest, mate.
Yeah, all right. Later.
Yep. All right. We are looking at about 48 minutes left in the event. Brucey has yet to make their second stop, and my friend, look at Brucey's rear tires, 61% wear. I cannot believe they have pushed their tires this deep into the run.
I was about to say, how is he keeping that thing on the road? I mean, it's a miracle he has not spun out yet.
This will likely be the lap he comes in and pits. And after pitting,
Oh, that
we'll
was a
have
bit of a
30.
Tokyo drift.
Yeah, that was
in
a big
corner.
slide there. But I imagine Brucey will pit this time, and after pitting, there will only be about 35 minutes left in the event. So Brucey is making this a 2-stop strategy compared to Indiel Dindu, who is on a 3-stop strategy. So Brucey might steal the stint win off the back of just cutting an entire pit stop out here.
Yep,
and yes, here it comes. Brucey's coming in. He's not the only one. Larry B has come in this time as well.
So, let's have a look here. So, Larry is in pits now, and let's do a quick calculation. Ramirez has done way more in regards to hitting, so he's going to come in again. So he's on a 3-stop strat. I mean, if I were in the AMG, I would not be considering doing a 3-stop strategy. I would be more focused on doing a 2-stop strategy. But yet, here we are. And I'd say, potentially, that Harry, if he's got a good set of tires on, he could be wanting to go balls to the wall and try and hunt down eMirrors. That's what I would try to do. But he's going to have a tall order if he's going to try and get him, because he's essentially 1 to 2 sectors ahead.
Yeah. The big thing is Amiris, one more pit stop left. We think Larry is not going to pit again. So when Amiris makes his next stop, he will give up a lot of his track position advantage to Larry, but he'll have a tire advantage. So there might be a likelihood that Larry is not going to go back-to-back top 5 overall. I think Larry, who's ranked 7th overall, I think 7th is going to be the absolute best he can pull out today in Stint 2 here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Larry has potential to go into 6th, but I don't think Emiris is going to want to give that up easily.
All right. Meanwhile, Dr. Ice and PTG Neb are back to dueling it out with each other once again.
Let's hope
we have
they
about
do not
35
make
minutes
contact
left in the
again.
event.
Yeah, let's hope they don't make contact again, because, I mean, that's how things ended last time.
Stint 2, this stint has honestly been much calmer than Stint 1. Stint 2, there was a lot of chaos and a lot of kind of randomness and accidents. Here in this stint, it's been very calm, and it's just been general pace that has kind of dictated everything. The only real wild card is Brucey on a 2-stop strategy, trying to fight with Indiel Dindu, who is on a 3-stop strategy, and we won't really know how that's going to turn out until we get to about the last 10 minutes of this run today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'd say it's going to be very interesting. I think Dindu's going to have to make another stop. That's for sure. But
yeah,
as we both know, pit stops on this field, on most tracks, are between 20 to 30 seconds. So, if Brucey's going to win, he's going to have to maintain a 20 to 30 second gap between himself and Dindu.
Of course, it is always possible that Brucey could have less than that gap, but then Dindu, after coming out of pits, just doesn't come to grips with the car and just can't run Brucey down in time. That's also a possibility. Remember what happened to the 2 McLarens at Spa in the real-life F1 race earlier this year. You know, the gap was really big, but second place should have run him down, but due to, you know, driver skill issue, he was never able to.
Yeah, but I doubt Dindu is going to do that. I doubt it. As we go back down, and Dr. Ice is actually going by PTG Ned.
Looks like he's got him pretty cut and dry there.
Yeah, but
it's one thing to get them. These two keeping in a scenario where they can make overtakes on each other, but neither of them have really been able to pull away and just dispose of the other and run off into the distance. Already, Neb's putting the bumper. The Dr. Ice's rear diffusers gets him wide, and Neb goes right back by.
I wonder if that was slightly helped. I wonder if there was a little bit of contact between those two just then. That might explain Dr. Rice having a little twitch then. So, look at, as we said before, top three is all accurate right now. All of them.
Every single battle on track seems to have basically dissolved at this stage of the event. It seems like everyone's settled into their position. The only fights of note is just this here between Neb and Dr. Ice, and then what we will see late in the event between Dindu and Brucey. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead, knock out an ad break here. We'll be back shortly at Spa-Francorchamps for what might be the run to the end of today's final stint, final hour in eRacing United's 4 Hours of Spa Enduro. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Spa-Francorchamps. About 20 minutes left. Sorry, not 20, about 30 minutes left in our broadcast here, or of our race here, and we will stay with you clean and green to the end. So we will stay on track to the end of this. No more mandatory Twitch-mandated ad breaks for the rest of this run. But it seems like the momentum between PTG Neb and Dr. Ice has finally swung in PTG Neb's favor. As long as Neb doesn't have another issue with his shifting and gearbox, he just gives himself a box of neutrals. It looks like Neb is going to pull away from Dr. Ice. And for Dr. Ice, this has got to be the most aggravating and frustrating collapse you can possibly have. Granted, most of Dr. Ice's win in Stint 1 came off the back of all of the Acras having accidents or disconnects. But he can't even stay ahead of PTG Neb now. He is losing ground rapidly to PTG Neb. That's got to be so bloody infuriating for Dr. Ice.
Yeah, and I will tell you something right now. That PTG Neb was having any money shifts towards the end of his stint in Stint 1. He was going from gear for the final today. For bus stop, it was actually going from gear 3 to gear 1, just immediately. So, yeah, and it's that whole entire downshift glitch, which unfortunately sometimes happens, which is out of his control.
Something else I do want to go ahead and say, so we missed it when it happened, but TNR Larry B has officially gone a lap down in relation to NDL Dindu at this stage of the event. So Larry's good, but he is not good enough to do anything against those Acuras. Dindu has put Larry a lap down. So GT3 leader has lapped the GT2 leader. The big question, the big wild card, of course, is when will NDL Dindu pit out of the lead? And then after that, it will be Dindu versus Brucey. We know that after Dindu pits, Brucey will inherit the lead, but how big is the gap going to be, and will Dindu have what it takes to run Brucey down to steal the stint win back?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Dindu, it has at least 42% of tire wear, so it's going to be coming in soon, but I think Dindu is going to want to strap on a set of soft tires. As
PTG Neb is coming in now.
in.
So he's the first to pit again. Honestly, this strategy has worked out well for Neb. Neb has actually been doing the... It's not a true undercut, but he's basically been undercutting everyone else. He's pitting earlier than everyone else he's been fighting. And because of that, those extra laps where he's on fresh tires and everyone else is on burnt out tires, he is making good time out of it. And he is looking to maybe come home fourth, back to what would be back-to-back fourths. Well, it would be a third and then a fourth. But still, he is saying himself well long-term in this event. So could go very interestingly for him. So the next drivers I would anticipate to see pit would be LMP Aramis, who currently runs 5th on track. Him, and then shortly afterwards, I imagine we would see Dindu, and then Isa Bay stop, then Dr. Ice a little later, and then Brucey, we are anticipating, will not stop for the rest of the run. We have about 26 minutes left, and we think that Brucey is just going to try and nurse his fuel and tires to the end without another pit stop here.
Yeah, I mean, once Emiris comes into his pit stop, the question will be, has Larry done it? Is Larry going to do enough to catch up to Emiris?
I don't think so. Even if Larry is faster, I think Aramis is going to end up with such a massive tire advantage that Larry's not going to be able to catch them or get by him.
Yeah, I mean, further, look at the gap between him and Larry. They are in completely different sectors. I mean, actually, if you look at it, they're actually in two different sectors. Sectors are...
Yeah, there's basically a half of a lap between the two of them, if not a little more. Again, after Aramis pits, I just see no way that Aramis falls into Larry's grasp. Also, Isa Bay finally paying out 3rd position now.
I think when I jumped onto his onboard, he was a little bit stationary. I wonder if it's a glitch on my end or not. I don't know.
Might be a bit of a hiccup.
Yeah. But what we do know is Dr. Ice goes by now. And Isabi is behind Emiris as well, but Emiris is going to be, I'd say, needs to come in one more time. Meanwhile, further down the field, it looks like Thomas is actually starting to close down the gap between himself.
Here we go. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but NDL Dindu is making his final stop now with about 23 and a half minutes left in the event. So the question now is against Dindu and Brucey. Brucey goes through the final chicane and is going to pull into the pit lane straightaway. He needs to get by Dindu quickly and open up as big of a gap as possible to try and stay ahead of NDL Dindu. The fight for the win of this final stint is on.
Yeah, I guarantee you Dindu has actually strapped on a set of soft compounder tires.
You only have to push the softs about 23 minutes. I think Dindu can make that work. That gap is not very big between the two of them, I don't think.
No. No, it's not. It's honestly, it's realistically roughly 2 corners that separate them two.
I'm going to try and time it here what their gap is. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009. It's about 10 seconds between Brucey and Dindu right now, and that gap's only going to keep getting smaller and smaller as it goes on. If it's only 10 seconds between them and you've got 20 some odd seconds left, if Dindu can catch Brucey at the rate of half a second a lap from now to the end, then Dindu has a shot of getting back by Brucey and still stealing the stint win. But if Dindu doesn't close by that much, if Dindu only closes by, let's say, a third a second a lap, Brucey is going to walk out of here with a stint victory. So we don't know quite yet what the distance in lap time is. The Forza telemetry will not give us that kind of extra information when you're in a timed race. But the question is all going to come down to, what can Dindu do? One thing that is going to hold Dindu up, he's got traffic in the form of Thunder. We'll put Thunder a second lap down, but once he's by Thunder, it is clear track ahead for both of our leaders. The next driver that they would catch would be GGA Design, and GGA Design is half of a sector ahead. So now, with Dindu having cleared Thunder, we are now going to see Brucey and Dindu turning the next roughly what we believe will be 21 minutes in clean air as they fight and battle it out for what should be the stint win here.
Yeah, honestly, if I believe Brucey is going to be on mediums, whilst Dindu is on the soft compound tire. So, with quick calculations, it's going to be Dindu is going to be a second quicker than Brucey per lap. So, I'd say Dindu might have a chance of winning it, but it would be to the very end.
But try and count the distance between them again. Thousand 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009. I think Dindu has taken off about a half second from Brucey that time alone.
Yeah, no, that.
So yeah, at that rate, I think Brucey needs to do. Dindu needs to do just a little bit more. I think he's on the right track, but he might need to do a little more. Also, Dr. Ice has made his final stop. So where is he going to end up in relation to Isa Day and PTG Nev?
Behind both of them, because both of them are on the exact same part of the track. So, never mind. He's going to be ahead of Elizabeth, but not, but behind Dr. PTG Neb, as he's right behind, as PTG Neb is right on his trumpet.
Yeah, Isa Bay is gone. They don't have any chance of fighting with Isa Bay, but it is Dr. Ice versus PTG Neb. Neb pitted earlier, but this time pitting early actually hurt him and put him well behind Dr. Ice, and now Dr. Ice has a tire advantage. He'll have less fuel in the car, and he has a bit of track position advantage. So this fight for fourth might not be over yet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to be, it's not all said and done just yet. Meanwhile, near the back of the pack, there is going to be a battle between 15th and 16th place. So I'd say there's going to be action up and down the track for a few safe positions, but not for the big ones just yet.
Gap between Aramis and Larry is still about half a lap. So yeah, like we said, there is no chance for Larry to catch Aramis. So Larry is going to top out at about 7th overall.
Yeah, and it looks like that's going to be the case. Meanwhile, PTG now is pushing in through corners again. And he's looking to get back by the ice again, looking towards the inside, thinking better of it.
Oh, he's got a good exit out of the chicane that time, though. It's going to be a drag race between the two of them.
Oh, PTG got a very good inside line. Dr. Ice going very wide. PTG now gained 4th position.
Big slide over the curves by Neb, but Neb holds station over Ice for now. Ice has the draft off the Aston Martin, closes down. He's gonna go to the outside. They gotta be neck and neck at the braking zone at the end of the Camel Straight, and Ice goes deeper under brakes. He'll get back by PTG Neb.
Right. One millisecond, 2 milliseconds, 3 milliseconds, 4 milliseconds, 5 milliseconds, 6 milliseconds, 7 milliseconds, 8 milliseconds. Right, so the gap between Brucey and Dundu is now at 8 seconds.
With 16 minutes to go, that means that Dindu has to close in by a little more than half of a second every minute that passes. I'm not so sure that's going to happen. Dindu might run out of time.
I think you might be right. I mean, the soft compound tire is better, roughly by half a second to a second. But
that's a half a second to a second in a lap.
Yep.
When you look at, though, if you think of a lap here being a bit more than 2 minutes, we only have about 12 laps left. No, we have 15 minutes left, so we only have like 7 laps left, roughly. If we only have 7 laps left, that gap is enough that Dindu would have to be closing by roughly an entire second a lap from now to the end, without fail.
Yep.
I just don't see that.
Yeah, that is going to be a tall order. I mean, the only caveat to all this is the lap down car, which is GGA design. That's the only...
not just that, a little bit ahead of them is GGA Roadkill and Amish Gaming. That fight for 14th that you talked about earlier. You're the one who mentioned it earlier. Here comes Tony Monkey. Giant dive bomb on Roadkill. He's by. They cross each other over. Monkey's by. This is the fight you were talking about earlier. And now all of a sudden the fight has heated up as they see the leaders coming up behind them. That is the other big thing to consider. Not only are they going to have to deal with GGA design, but GGA Roadkill and Tony Monkey are really fighting it and dueling it out here. If they hold up Brucey a whole bunch, then that will make Dindu's life a little bit easier.
Oh, Panda's coming into the fight as well.
You're right, I missed that completely. Pindaz is in the middle of this as well. So now it is a menage a trois here for the 14th, 15th, and 16th positions.
Yeah, 14. Yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting fight. And Brucey is going to be right in the center of it. Blue flags waving. And GGA Roadkill trying to go around the outside. Blue flag still being waved. 3 wide. That is...
They were very nearly 3 wide
idea.
there in the braking zone. Brucey just has no room to get by. It doesn't matter how many blue flags you throw. If there's nowhere on track to pass, you're still going to lose time. He's finally by Tony Monkey.
Yeah, finally, but now he's got to get past Roadkill. Out of contact.
And not just that, there you look, Tony Monkey's wide, and now Pendaz will go to the inside of Monkey there.
Now, I'm going to say that move by Brucey was a little bit questionable, if I am going to say that. Because although you have blue flags, it is your responsibility to do it safely. And we have seen it in the Nürburgring, where doing it recklessly can cost you your entire race.
This fight for 14th, 15th, and 16th, though, will not let up. They continue to absolutely slug it out between each other here.
Yep.
Roadkill, Pindaz, Tony Monkey, 3 different manufacturers, a Chevy, a Dodge, and a McLaren, all at it.
Yep.
12 minutes left in the event here.
And soon enough, Dindu is going to join the party. Dindu is going to want to get by as well.
Also, the fight between Neb and Dr. Ice hasn't let off yet, but it does seem like Neb has the upper hoof in that battle.
But yeah, it looks like this battle is going to actually hinder Dindu's chance of actually winning. Oh, Roadkill and Tony Monkey actually went wide a little bit there.
That gap between Dindu and Brucey has actually opened up. Dindu has fallen back to being about 10 seconds off of Brucey. So all the ground that Dindu had been making up, it's all gone. Dindu is now losing ground to Brucey.
Yeah, Tony doing a little bit of a Tokyo drift right there, and he is trying to keep Panda out of 4th, 15th.
Also, something else I've noticed, Thunder 8159, he is very close to having an entire mile worth of distance penalty.
Ouch.
That would be horrendous. There's no one else anywhere close to that. The next worst is Isa Bay and PTG Neb.
No, wait, sorry to interrupt. Design actually going into the wall. He's actually very, very badly damaged.
And he's going to have to limp all the way around the track before he can get into the pit lane to repair that. So that's going to be more than a little bit frustrating. That's just going to be absolutely catastrophic for him.
I will admit to you something. This is actually Design actually said in the DJ channels that this is actually going to be his last race before he does as a little bit of a holiday from Forza. He's a little bit burnt out. So we do wish him all the best.
We waited a little bit too long to wish him all the best because now there's not enough time in the race for all the best to really help him here.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, further ahead, Dindu is now one to get by Tony.
Through Al Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, thinking better of doing it through Al Rouge and Radion. Thinking better of it. Because, like I said, if you try to do an overtake and do it recklessly, it's going to be a big penalty.
Here comes Roadkill not Roadkill, Monkey. Here, oh my god, that's 3 wide, that's not gonna work! And Dindu runs all 3 of them off the racetrack! Dindu just gave up trying. He's like, screw the blue flags, I just want to go through now. And he forced the 2 lap cars to go off circuit. He's by, but he's gonna lose a bunch of time in the process, and that's the kind of thing that might get looked at post-race.
Yeah, like I said, in Nürburgring, in real life, this thing actually happened. Someone got so fed up of waiting behind, they actually pushed them and actually flipped one of the lap down cars. And as a result, that car who tried to get through the overtake was actually given a big penalty because the stewards do not like you doing a reckless move like that.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the most reckless moves you could possibly see. The only thing is, though, that Dindu is basically a half a lap ahead of VER Dr. Ice. So it doesn't matter what kind of penalty you would throw at Dindu. there's not going to be enough to take away what looks like a near guaranteed stint win from this team. That car is so fast that you could throw some big penalties and they're still going to walk off with the overall event win here.
Yeah.
Trying to penalize them for that dangerous and reckless move is going to be like trying to rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic. It's borderline fruitless when it comes down to it.
Yeah, unless they throw the book at him, which I doubt, and they say, nope, you're black flag. I doubt they're going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do a black flag here in the middle of the race. You have to be doing something particularly wrong, like just stopping the car on the track or driving the wrong way, or just outright going and hooking someone to get something like that. I just don't see that happening. And now, Dindu's already cleared Amish Gaming. Brucey is in completely clean air. Dindu is now in completely clean air as well.
Now, I do want to continue looking at this battle for essentially the best of the rest, because looking at the fight between 14th and 15th and 16th, it's still happening. And actually, looking further ahead.
I just timed the gap between our leaders. The gap has now opened up to 14 seconds. Dindu has lost about 5 seconds fighting with GT traffic. So the fight for this stint win, unless Brucey has something horrendously go wrong, it is over. The gap has opened up massively. There's no way that Dindu catches Brucey here. Brucey has this one in the bag.
Yeah, but look at the battle for 14th. It's absolutely heating up.
Heating up? It's been so hot for so long, I've had to step out of my kitchen.
But yeah, and I should point out, all three of them, Tony, Roadkill, and Panda, are all a part of GTA. So this is essentially a GTA civil war.
Indaz is also the main driver who set up and organized this event as well.
Yep.
A little less than 5.5 minutes left here, so most of the drivers will finish this lap and get another full lap in here. For Brucey, they're just now starting a new lap, so they'll knock out this lap and then do part of another lap, and that will be it. So not quite 2 full laps left in the event. Unless Brucey has some sort of catastrophic implosion, it will go from a disconnect to a win here at Spa.
Which will be very, very infuriating if you ask me.
Yeah, I would be absolutely livid at that as well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, looking further down...
Oh, Roadkill! Big dive in the hairpin on Tony! It's gonna be a drag race between the two of them as they run downhill to Al Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, Panda just at the popcorn, at the ready, saying, if you do mess up, I'm going to take both of your positions.
TNR Larry B has gone ahead and pitted, so Larry's hopes to make this a 2-stop race is now derailed. But if Larry can't make it a 2-stop, we have to look back at Brucey. Does Brucey have what it takes to make this a 2-stop race still? Because Larry has been incredible. If Larry can't make it a 2-stop, is Brucey going to be able to make it 2-stop?
Potentially.
Yeah, he'll make it. It'll be rough. His tires are going to be hurting, but he'll make it.
He's got 57%
In fact, he's going to be the only driver outside of Amish who makes this a 2-stop by the looks of it.
Yeah, so I'd say he's got the potential to do it. I mean, he doesn't need to come in. It's just going to be part of a lap, and then that's it. So let's look back down. This battle for 14th is still raging. It's now in, I'd say it's now engulfed the house now, as Tony is now ahead of Roadkill.
Hendaz hangs out just a little bit behind, but it doesn't look like he has quite the speed to really get punchy. The other thing, though, is that all these drivers are about to catch Amish. Amish is on a 2-stop strategy, so Amish is on very worn-out medium tires. 3 minutes left, so they're going to finish this lap and get one more lap in, they'll finish their run about the time they come across the start-finish line. Not this time, but the time afterwards. So Amish is really frustrated because Amish is like, I've made the two-stop work perfectly, but he's just not had the pace. I see no way he keeps Monkey, Roadkill, and Pindaz behind him.
Yeah, in fact, here is Tony looking right underneath that wing. He's like, if keep on coming to me, please. I want that position.
And Roadkill is right there behind Tony. Hopes that Tony gets held up behind that McLaren ahead and gives him an open shot by, ideally through the Al Rouge and Radion complex.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a very, very complex battle for the end.
Monkey was wide in Al Rouge, but Roadkill was not close enough to capitalize. Monkey has the draft on Amish. Amish defends the inside. Monkey goes to the outside. Drag race for 13th. The Chevy easily outbreaks the McLaren and goes forward.
Between Roadkill and Amish.
And that really holds Roadkill up there. But now he's back, gathered it back up. He's going to go for another shot here.
Panda going off. Panda went off in the background, and he's going to have to be forced to settle for 16. Meanwhile, Roadkill is wanting to get by Amish. I mean, he did make contact with that rear end.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Amish can't even begin to hold the inside. Roadkill pulls alongside. Amish slides off circuit, can barely even keep the car on him. Roadkill goes for a dive on the inside, neck and neck through the corners, and Roadkill's through.
Yeah, that is said and done, if you ask me. Absolutely done. Last 40 seconds or so now, and I'd say this is going to be pretty much the last thing.
Yep, it looks like this is over. And OSM Brucey disconnected about a third of the way through the first stint. But stint 2, while he's not led the most laps, he has been using an alternate strategy to cut out a pit stop. And unless something catastrophic happens here, he's going to have it. 15 seconds left. Brucey goes from 0 to hero here in that 333 entry. And your second place finisher in the stint, Indiel didn't do, we anticipate is going to walk out of here with the win, assuming no big penalties for the incredibly reckless driving he had. The time's up. Over. Plow! Your winner for stint 2 is OSM Brucey 33. Second place will be Indiel didn't do. Third place will be Isa Bay, so it'll be a 1-2-3 finish for Acura. Fourth place will be VER Dr. Ice. Fifth place is PTG Neb, who lost fourth in the last few corners. We missed that. Sixth place, and last of everyone to be on the lead lap, will be LMP Aramis. After that will be TNR Larry B, who will be 7th overall and the winner easily in GT2. 8th overall will be Thomas 086R. Then 9th will go to NFL Racer 4812. 10th overall will go to Shadows Gamer, who is the second place finisher in GT2. 11th will be GGA Flackbus in the Porsche. 12th will be the last of our finishing GT2s. That will be Space Dog Mike, followed by Tony Monkey 123. After that will be GGA Roadkill. After that will be Amish Gaming. After that will be Pindaz, then Thunder 8159, and GGA Design. And that will wrap up the race. We're going to knock out an ad break, and when we come back, we'll try to get some interviews done with our top finishers in both categories. All right. Hey, Neb, can you hear me? Neb, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and include your audio in the party when you can.
Already have.
All right. Okay, I'll start saying more invites out in a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Spa-Francorchamps. Our event is over, and we want to talk with one of our top finishers here, PTG Neb. Neb, interesting race. It seemed like the entire time you and Dr. Ice were in a knife fight. Sadly, both times it looks like you ended up right behind him. What do you have to say about your 4 hours of spa experience?
It was great fun. I thought it was going to be a really good battle for the end. And then at the end of stint 1, I got the double downshift bug that gave me near on 25% engine damage. So I kind of just got screwed over. And by that point, I knew where I was finishing. So it's kind of just, it's stint 2, go out, have fun. And I kind of intentionally took a risky fuel strategy and ran out near the end.
All right, well, still very, very active and intense fighting out there. One other question I have to ask, because we know that you are a competitor in the PTG NASCAR series. Are you going to be recovered enough for their Daytona race tonight?
Hopefully, it's Daytona, so you don't need much brain activity unless the person in front of you crashes. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, well, confidence words from PTG Neb. It was great to see you out there. Now I want to talk about the other half of that slap, kill relationship you've been having. VER, Dr. Ice, go ahead, include your audio in the Xbox party. You win Stint 1, but a very, very distant 4th place in Stint 2. What do you have to say about your run out there today?
Well, I think Stint 1 was pretty good. It just kind of sucked that Bruce, the F1R stand-in team, and another car lagged out. Trying to carry that confidence in a Stint 2, and I just saw him run me down. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to finish where I finished. So met up with Neb about halfway through the stint. We just started battling like we did at Stint 1.
So I have to ask, what do you think the likelihood is of winning the event overall? You won Stint 1, you were well ahead of the entry that NDL didn't do shared in Stint 1, but here in Stint 2, the results kind of swung the other way. But there also might be penalties for aggressive driving coming didn't do's way as well. So what do you think your likelihood is of winning the event overall?
I think I was a couple miles behind him total. I think even with penalties involved, I think he's still going to get it. Not sure how steep the penalties are going to be or what exactly entailed with that, but I mean, we'll see. I'm happy here in second, so.
All right, and I do want to ask, what other things are we going to see you running in over the next few weeks? What else are you going to be partaking in?
So I got ISCC actually in like 30 minutes after this, so I'm gonna go stuff my face with ramen or whatever I can grab downstairs and get used to the protos after driving the Lexus for 4 hours, and hopefully get back in A lobby and have a decent run this week as compared to Yas Marino last week.
All right, thanks for jumping in, talking with us, Mayo. It was a good showing out there. We'd like to see more great runs for you in the future.
Absolutely.
All right, so with that in mind, we're going to wait just a little bit, hope that we can get interviews in with either Didn't Do, Brucey, or TNR Larry B, as Brucey won Stint 2. We believe Didn't Do is going to be the overall winner of the event as a whole, and then we are anticipating that TNR Larry B will be the GT2 category winner. Oh no. My Xbox is crashing. Can you guys hear me at all still? Can any of you guys hear me? I think my Xbox has crashed. Well, wonderful. Well, I don't know if the stream is still running or not, but whether it is or isn't, I apologize for any issues. I apologize for these technical issues at the very end. It does not look like we're going to be able to talk with our winners in the end, as my Xbox has completely crashed. It's not Forza, it's just the Xbox, and I do apologize for that. But with that in mind, I will wrap up our broadcast here from Spa-Francorchamps. In a few hours' time, we will cover the PTG NASCAR race at Daytona, as that championship is down to its last 3 races of the season. But until then, I've been your host for today's broadcast, Insane Lear 13. Okay, so NDL Togue says he can hear me in the chat, but I don't have any way to do any party interviews, so I can't do any interviews. My, everything has just about crashed for me. I'm going to try one more thing here. I'm going to try one more thing to try and get interviews in here with our winners.